Will humanity ever fully inhabit Antarctica? Maybe in the distant future, but nowhere near anytime soon. Antarctica's average temperature at the coast is -10. Not too bad, eh? But then the highest parts of the interior is around -60. Sometimes at the coast in the summer you can get a whopping 10 degrees. Still nothing to shout home about. The continent is covered in a dome of ice that can be as thick as 3 miles in some places. It's colder than the North Pole and it has near constant winds that reach gale force. Believe it or not, it's also the driest continent. It almost never snows or rains there because it's just too bloody cold. And surprise, surprise, very few animals actually call Antarctica home. The few that do live mostly around the coast where it's still warm and there's places where they can get food. So orcas, leopard seals, penguins, etc. The only places they'll find food is by the coast. It has no arable land for farming and it's too cold for most crops. There's no resources for building shelter, and when you consider it has some of the most extreme weather than anywhere else in the planet, shelter is quite important. You desperately need that more than anywhere else on Earth. And you also have to bear in mind that for half of the year you're going to be baked in constant sun. Weak sun, but still sunlight. And for the last 6 months, you're going to be in constant darkness. That's why very few people inhabit Antarctica, and the ones that do are professionals. They have all of the equipment for scientific testing and experiments and all the rest of it. Basically, your average flat earther who believes in the ice wall because he watched one video on TikTok wouldn't last a day out in that climate. It's the most inhospitable land on Earth. But because it's an inhospitable bit of land, it's a good practice ground for various countries' space programs to simulate living on Mars. It's a good place for practicing artificial farming inside buildings and potentially living in domes, because on Mars you wouldn't be able to handle the atmosphere because there's no oxygen. Not to mention it's 100 times thinner than Earth's atmosphere. But at least if something went wrong with the dome structure, you wouldn't instantly die from an oxygen leak, for example. So, in short, this is Antarctica. It is quite literally the coldest place on Earth. It has the most extreme weather. There is no suitable land for agriculture or farming. You only have the coldest winter you could possibly imagine, and England winter for seasons. It's going to be hugely expensive and overall just not worth it. But on the plus side, you would get regular stunning views of the southern lights. So I suppose there's one positive that could come out of living there.